Volkswagen's 6th generation Jetta is bigger and sleeker than any before it, offering customers a different alternative to the Golf hatch. With this saloon, you get a huge boot and rear passenger space almost able to rival the larger, pricier Passat. Whether European buyers like it won't matter too much to the German brand because there are plenty of other markets that will. Let's find out why. Now, if you know anything at all about Volkswagen's Jetta, it'll be of its remit in life as a booted Volkswagen Golf, there to satisfy American and Mediterranean markets who rather curiously see 4 doors as being preferable to 5. Now, true though that may have been of this car in its first 5 generations of life, it isn't, according to the German brand, the way things are now. And proof for their point of view comes with a larger, totally unique body that has a longer wheelbase, positioning this car midway between a family-sized Golf hatch and the Mondeo-sized Passat. That's the kind of size you'd have thought that many family buyers might quite like, even if they're not people who would normally set out to buy a saloon. Plusher versions might even tempt Audi A4 and BMW 3 Series style compact executive buyers, or so Volkswagen hopes. It just goes to show how one basic design can be tailored to appeal to all kinds of different people. This car, you see, was primarily created to appeal to its largest market, one very different from that for pampered executives. Stateside budget buyers have been responsible for the vast majority of the 10.1 million Jettas sold since this car's original introduction way back in 1979, and today snap up over 110,000 of them every year, with college buyers being attracted by endorsement from singers like Katy Perry, and cheap pricing made possible by the close proximity of this car's Mexican assembly plant. In order to sell the same cars for 70% more money over in Europe, Volkswagen has plushened up those models heading across the Atlantic, adding the more sophisticated multi-link rear suspension from the Golf, electric power steering, a better quality cabin, and some subtle styling tweaks. It'll be a clever and very profitable strategy if it works, but will it? Let's find out. Now, your Volkswagen salesperson will probably pitch this car to you as one being able to offer the best attributes of both a smaller Golf and a larger Passat in one well-priced package. Now, the pricing bit I'll come to later on, but as far as the rest of that goes, it's actually not too far from the mark. At the wheel, you're seated in a well-placed driving position that offers the clarity and ease of use of a Golf with the comfort of a Passat. Both attributes that are carried forward into the driving experience on offer. So while you'll not be thrilled by the way that this car responds to your every move, you'll at the same time be quietly impressed by the way that it can be quickly and smoothly threaded down a twisting B road thanks to excellent grip and nicely weighted steering. Plus, the multi-link rear suspension that's fitted to European Jetta models means that you get a ride that's compliant and comfortable. But of course, the fleet meisters, who will be making up the lion's share of Volkswagen's modest predicted UK sales volume, will be racking up most of their mileage on motorways, which is why Volkswagen has tried so hard with the refinement of this car, the aim being to make owners feel that they're in something much bigger and more comfortable, which has broadly been achieved. At 50 miles an hour in the popular 2-litre TDI model, you're looking at noise levels that are only a couple of decibels louder than in something like a Bentley Continental. This 140 PS unit is a willing and flexible one. Forget the 9.5 second 0 to 60 mile an hour time. What's really important is the prodigious 320 Newton meters of torque, able at any point to help you blast past slow moving traffic. This is a long-serving engine for Volkswagen, a fact that's evidenced by the availability in automatic form only of the older 6-speed version of the company's DSG twin-clutch semi-automatic gearbox. For the more modern 7-speed DSG auto gearbox option, you've to go for either of two more affordable Jetta models. First, there's Volkswagen's lower powered but more modern diesel, a 105 PS 1.6 litre TDI unit, which comes with Blue Motion technology efficiency mods, or the faster of the two petrol variants, a 1.4 litre TSI that uses both turbocharging and supercharging to develop its 160 PS. Now here I've gone for the 1.6 TDI Blue Motion technology, which has a 5-speed gearbox if you're quick, with which 60 can appear in just under 12 seconds. All the other manual gearboxes in the range are 6-speeders, and you'll find one of those fitted to the only other engine on offer. That's an entry-level 122 PS turbo-only version of the 1.4 litre TSI petrol. Right from the beginning, stylist Klaus Bischoff and the team behind this 6th generation Jetta were determined that it would be much more than just a Golf with a boot. So at 4.6 metres long, it's 90 millimetres longer than the previous generation version. That's 45 millimetres longer than a Golf, 215 millimetres shorter than a Passat. And it shares not a single panel with its hatchback stablemate, even if it does have the same elderly Golf Mk1 underpinnings. In terms of the look, well, it's a clean, cohesive styling effort, if not an especially memorable one, with the same corporate front end that we've lately seen on Polo, Golf and Passat models of recent times. In profile, things are slightly sharper thanks to what Volkswagen call a tornado line, which cuts through the large side surfaces in an attempt to offer a strong dynamic appearance. Inside, though, the overall look and feel speaks of quality. When it comes to the detail stuff, you might wish this car did have a bit more in common with a Golf. The nice touches you'd find on that car's dashboard, the way the dial glasses are angled towards each other, for example, are missing. And you notice the way that the Jetta's door trims lack the usual nice padding, being fabricated from hard plastic right up to window level. Build quality from the Mexican factory isn't quite up to German standards either, but the differences are slight. But anyway, this is all fairly pernickety stuff. The dash top that's soft to the touch and chrome ringed instrument dials do just about enough to justify the prices being asked. And of perhaps more importance is the news that no other rival offers a more comfortable driving position, thanks in part to reach and rake adjustment for the steering wheel and a height adjustable driver's seat. Bottom line is that there are plusher feeling rivals, but none that you'd rather live with over a 4 or 5 hour journey. The clever touches are nice too. Let me give you one example. The way that if you select reverse or operate the windscreen wiper jets, the ventilation system changes automatically to recirculating air so as to prevent smells from exhaust fumes or windscreen wash from entering the car. Most of the extra length that sets this car apart from a Golf has gone into a wheelbase that's 70 millimeters longer, something you especially notice here at the back, where there's ample headroom and 67 millimeters more legroom. Two burly adults wouldn't really relish a lengthy trip in the back of a Golf, but they'll be well served here, with pretty much the same kind of space that you'd have got in a Mondeo or Passat class car until just a few years back. That might be tempting for family-minded potential Golf customers, particularly as the versatility that they'll lose through not having a rear hatch is partly compensated for by these 60/40 split folding rear seats that on plusher models also incorporate a through ski hatch. Actual boot space is measured at 510 litres, a useful increase on the 350 litres you'd get in a Golf's cargo compartment, and within spitting distance of the 545 litres you'd get in the boot of the supposedly larger Passat. Jetta pricing sits mainly in the £17,000 to £22,000 bracket. So, good value? Well, there are several ways of looking at that. You could moan that the US version sells from just £10,000, but then that's a less sophisticated total package. Volkswagen, of course, would rather that you saw this car as a BMW 3 Series sized compact executive saloon rival for £5,000 less, but I'm not sure that's a realistic way of looking at it either. Probably neither point of view offers a really balanced perspective, so maybe we should start looking at this car as it actually is, rather than what we or its maker would like it to be. So let's do that. The prices being asked here pitch this model very slightly above what you pay for a comparable Volkswagen Golf and offer a useful saving over the only slightly larger Volkswagen Passat. As for the different variants, well, if you're shopping at entry-level petrol Jetta level, you'll need to find a premium of £1,300 to progress from the 122 PS 1.4 litre TSI to the 160 PS turbocharged and supercharged version of the same engine. Or you might want to consider the merits of diesel power. Going from the entry-level 1.4 litre TSI petrol to the entry-level 105 PS 1.6 litre TDI diesel will cost you £1,400 more. So that might be something you'll have to weigh up in terms of running costs versus power. You may also want to consider whether it's really worth stretching to the £20,000 mark to own the popular 2 litre TDI 140 PS diesel variant. As for rivals, well, most potential Jetta buyers will probably feel that this car's higher quality and greater residual values will justify the premium of several £1,000s over what you pay for a comparable Chevrolet Cruze saloon. Volvo's S40 four-door is probably a closer rival, but it's also a significantly more expensive one. Whichever Jetta model you choose, the 122 or 160 PS 1.4 litre TSI petrol variants, or either of the diesels, this 1.6 litre TDI or the 2 litre TDI, you should find your car to be decently equipped. All Jettas come with climatic air conditioning that also cools the glove box to keep your chocolate and your drinks cool. You also get a trip computer, a decent quality 4-speaker MP3 compatible CD stereo, driver's seat height adjustment, power windows and mirrors, remote central locking, daytime running lights, and a hill holder clutch to stop you drifting backwards on uphill junctions. Bluetooth phone connectivity and alloy wheels will require a plusher model or a trip to the options list. Safety-wise, there are Isofix child seat fastenings in the rear and anti-whiplash head restraints, plus twin front, side and curtain airbags, and the usual electronic assistance for braking, traction and stability to try and ensure that you'll never have to use them. Now, all the engines on offer are aided in their efficiency by direct injection and a turbocharger, but there's a wide range of transmission options. Now, I'd always thought that one key to creating an efficient car was to equip it with a 6-speed manual gearbox, but Volkswagen don't seem to agree. I'm driving the most frugal Blue Motion technology model here, the one fitted with a 105 PS 1.6 litre TDI diesel, but it's also the only Jetta variant that gets a 5-speed rather than a 6-speed manual transmission. Not that this seems to do it any harm. Thanks to a wide range of different efficiency mods, battery regeneration, low rolling resistance tyres, and a clever auto start stop system that cuts the engine when you don't need it, when you're waiting in heavy urban traffic or stuck at the traffic lights. Thanks to all of that, it's able to produce a very impressive set of running cost figures. That means 65.7 miles per gallon on the combined cycle and a CO2 return of 109 grams per kilometre, which increases to 113 grams per kilometre if you go for the 7-speed DSG semi-automatic gearbox. Now, low CO2 returns will of course be vital to the company car buyers, will make up at least 55% of sales for this model. The 1.4 litre petrol TSI variants return between 140 and 145 grams per kilometre of CO2 and manage fuel returns which hover at around the 47 miles per gallon mark on the combined cycle. As for the 2 litre 140 PS diesel that many will want, that manages 53.3 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle and 138 grams per kilometre of CO2. An optimum gear change indicator on the dash here will help most ordinary buyers get somewhere close to those kinds of figures on a day-to-day basis. As for residual values, well, perhaps fortunately for Volkswagen, the used market doesn't discriminate between German-made Volkswagens and Mexican-built ones, so you should get the usual high resale returns associated with this brand, higher certainly than you'd enjoy from most mainstream marques. This car's relative rarity will help here. The UK importers reckon on selling no more than about 3,000 of these in a good year, and that's a fraction of the number that they'd sell on the shores of the Gulf in an equivalent period. Now, insurance groups range between 12 to 17 on the 1 to 50 grouping scale, and maintenance costs can be kept down thanks to the way that you can choose a servicing regime to suit your likely use. There's a time and distance program for low mileage users, while higher mileage owners can choose a long life servicing program. It's all about market perception, isn't it? Family hatchback buyers here are rarely prepared to look beyond a 5-door family hatchback, a body style that buyers of BMW 3 Series size compact executive cars wouldn't give you a thank you for. Now, in theory, this Jetta has the potential to sit in either category, but for the time being, most buyers are likely to continue to see it as a booted Golf-sized model rather than anything fancier, which will limit sales here substantially. And that's a pity, because there's some substance to Volkswagen's argument that this car amounts to a lot more than that. For little more than Golf prices, you get a car that's 8/10 of what you get in the pricier Passat. So great rear seat room, a huge boot, and a classy ride are all provided, as are an efficient range of engines. Viewed in this light, you can see why the Americans like it so much, as British buyers probably would were prices to be at all comparable. Even as it is, you can see why someone might buy one of these, given how well it stacks up against the Volvo S40 and Chevrolet Cruze models that are its only real direct rivals. Perhaps family buyers should put the boot into their deliberations and Jetta zone their preconceptions about saloon car motoring. If they ever do, then Volkswagen is well placed to capitalise.